was born in the Congo. I gazed on the forest and burnt out the Sahara. With a packet of goat's meat and a change of clothes, I crossed it in 2 hours, 'cause I'm a gazelle, so swift you can't catch me. For a birthday present when he was 3, I gave my son Hannibal an elephant. He gave me Rome for Mother's Day. My strength flows ever on. My son Noah built New Ark, and I stood proudly at the helm as we sailed on a soft summer day. I turned myself into myself and was Jesus. Men intone my loving name. All praises, I am the one who would save. I sewed diamonds in my backyard. My bowels deliver uranium. The foulings from my fingernails are semi-precious jewels. On a trip north, I caught a cold and blew my nose, giving oil to the Arab world. I am so hip, even my errors are correct. I sailed west to reach east and had to round off the earth as I went. My hair thinned and gold was laid across 3 continents. I am so perfect, so divine, so ethereal, so surreal. I cannot be comprehended except by my permission. I mean, I can fly like a bird in the sky. It was the coming across the ocean that was bad. It was the coming across the ocean that was bad. It was the coming across the ocean that was bad. It was the coming across the ocean that was bad. It was the packing that was bad. It was the packing of all of us in ships that was bad. It was the packing of all of us in ships that was bad. It was the packing of all of us in ships that was bad. It was the landing that was bad. It was the landing. It was the landing. It was the standing on auction blocks that was bad. It was the standing on auction blocks that was bad. It was the standing on auction blocks that was bad. It was the raping that was bad. It was the raping that was bad. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. It was the raping. It was the raping. It was the raping. It was the giving birth that was bad. The giving birth that was bad. It was the giving birth every 9 months, every 9 months, every 9 months, every 9 months. How do I live? How do I live? How do I live? How do I live? It was the coming across the ocean. It was the packing of olives and ships that was bad. It was the landing that was bad. It was the standing on auction blocks, on auction blocks, on auction blocks. It was the raping that was bad, the giving birth that was bad. Every 9 months, every 9 months, every 9 months, every 9 months. Don't touch me. Father, do you see me? I am here. Father, Mother, do you see me? I am here. Everything I tried to forget, I remember. Everything I tried to remember, I forget. It was the living, the dying, the living, the dying, the living, the dying, the living, the dying, the living, the dying. How do I live? How do I live? How do I live? And we press on towards the prize that understanding of life. We gain understanding and education of who we are. According to my teachers, I am now an African American. They call me out of my name. Black is an open umbrella. I am black and a black forever. I am one of the blacks. We are here. We are there. We occur in Brazil, Nigeria, Ghana, Botswana, Tanzania, Kenya, Russia, Australia, Haiti, Soweto, Grenada, Cuba, Panama, Libya, England, Italy, and France. We are graces in any places. I am black and a black forever. I am other than hyphenation, 3/5 of a white person / colored / nigger / negro. I am other than hyphenation. I say proudly my people. I say proudly our people. Our people do not disdain to eat yams or melons or grits or to put peanut butter in stew. I am Kojo. In West Africa, Kojo means unconquerable. My parents named me the 7th day from my birth in black spirit, black faith, black communion. I am Kojo. I am a black and I capitalize my name. Do not call me out of my name.
Geylah.
Yes, ma'am.
What a marvelous performance.
Thank you.
For one thing, I don't know where you find some of your material. I recognize Nikki Giovanni in the first piece, but then I don't know about the others, and I want to know, one, where you found this, two, how you managed to memorize those lines, and three, where you got the drama that you brought to them. So you can answer those questions in whatever order you like.
Well, that was a collaboration of the three pieces. The first one was an excerpt from Nikki Giovanni's Ego Tripping, and the second piece was Improvisations by Sonia Sanchez. It's in the book Wounded in the House of a Friend. That's Sonia Sanchez. And some people call that the middle passage piece, but the title is Improvisations. And then the third piece was Kojo, I Am a Black by Gwendolyn Brooks.
Okay. All
and
right.
it's in her book, Children Coming Home.
When did you start this and why?
Oh, well, my mother was a speech and drama major. And so I grew up as a wee child, 5 years old, reciting Langston Hughes, James Weldon Johnson's pieces, and I've always, as long as I can remember, we were brought up reciting literature, African American literature. And Mom would go to the school and recruit kids and other students, and we would put on performances and presentations for anything, the PTA meeting, in any school activity, and just continued in that fashion as I got older. And I met Susan Taylor when I was about 16 years old, and she saw me do a piece of poetry, and she said, you have a gift, you have to use it, you have to share it, give it back to others. And it was like, wow, it was instant validation. And so that's when I really took it serious, that I should be doing this more and sharing it with others. And so pretty much did most events here in the Chicago area. Where
Is this your home, Chicago?
I was born in Chicago and then relocated to St. Stephen, South Carolina, from about 8 to 13. About 8 to 13, and then came back to Chicago from 13 to 36. Lived here, and then now currently live in Macomb, Illinois, which is 4 hours away from Chicago.
Did you make that trip up here to do this?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Came here just for this.
This is so wonderful of you to make such a long trip to come to do. I'm calling this show Celebrating Your History, Celebrating Yourself. And you have a company. How long have you had this company, Black History Comes to Life?
Well, Black History Comes to Life it was a vision, and it came from 15 years of doing my show. My show, what you saw was a small portion of my show, Power of the Tongue. And I've been doing my show for 15 years nationwide. So because of that, and primarily self-promoted my show, I've been to about 300-400 universities. And because of the self-promotion, I noticed the need for more Afrocentric oriented productions that had a historical value. And so just journeying along the way, I've met people who did one-person shows as well. So it was Oba William King who did a reenactment of Denmark VC, and that was about a year ago. And so when I saw him, it sort of really came to me that I really need to create a place where people could come to be able to select presentations. And so thus Black History Comes to Life was created from just the need. I do a lot of colleges, and there are so many selections of entertainment that they have, but they just don't have enough of this type of programming, this historical, valuable programming, in particular for Black History Month, and events where they spend quite a bit of money bringing people in, and then the students, I'm concerned about what the students are actually leaving away from the room with, what was imparted, into their spirits, into their souls, into their minds. So creating Black History Comes Alive definitely was, I believe, a vision and a mandate. And so you can find us at blackhistorymcomestolife.com.
You do this 365 days a year.
Yes, ma'am. 365 days a year. Yes. And so there at blackhistorymcomestolife.com, there is the selection of Paul Robeson, Madam C.J. Walker, Denmark VC. We have a conversation between Fannie Lou Hamer and Mary McLeod Bethune. And that's by Chicago's own Mama Brenda Matthews.
I know Brenda Matthews.
Yes, is
she still active?
Yes, she is, and she's doing that show, Somebody Better Say Something, which is the meeting of Fannie Lou and Mary McLeod Bethune. So that's her one-woman show, and we have a show on Zora Neale Hurston. We have Langston Hughes. We have Frederick Douglass. We have Billie Holiday. So we have a wide variety and selection, Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, of individuals who we are bringing to life and hopefully leaving that mark, that historical mark that sometimes can be glossed over, particularly outside of Black History Month. So that's why we are 365 days a year.
And I'm glad that you do, because it's for the oldest people on the planet to celebrate their history for 28 days, as though, that's enough time to, we talk about millions of years of history. So how dare you, try to confine us to a particular time of the month and to some particular programming. And
Absolutely.
I'm glad that you are apparently you're creating some of this work as well. Are you writing some of this?
I am writing, and I'm co-writing the shows for Zora Neale Hurston, for Billie Holiday, for Madam C.J. Walker, and for Sojourner Truth.
And you're
Yes.
giving the voice. You're giving them voice here and now. Zora Neale Hurston is one of my very favorite people in the world because
Yes.
she was so sassy.
Yes, she
You know,
was.
she just had so much spirit and
Yes,
so
she
much
was.
fire.
Yes, she was, absolutely. And thank God for Alice Walker for revisiting her and presenting her to the world, because she could have been lost.
Yes, I understand that she was actually in an unmarked grave.
Yes.
And you know, that's too often that's what happens to people who have given us so much, that they vanish and they're not remembered. And that's really a violation of African culture.
Right.
You know, not to remember and to revere your ancestors. You know,
Absolutely.
is an abomination, I
And
think.
it's so important, pulling from the ancestors and understanding the origin of what we take for granted now. You know, it's even with the poetry and the slam and, you know, the spoken word. So many individuals, they come into this genre only with what they see presently. So you could ask some of them, you know, well, who are you following? Who have you studied? Who do you know of? Who's your mentor? Who's the model? You know, who set the standard for you? And some of these individuals, they don't even know who Maya Angelou is. They don't know who Gwendolyn Brooks is, you know, which is a tragedy. It's a tragedy. And, you know, I always remember Haki Mahabudi said to me one day, because I used to be very frustrated about that, you know, not honoring the ancestors and not honoring that oral tradition, you know, that came before you know, the calls, the folk lore, you know, just the call and response, and you know, the field songs, all these things that come together to produce what we know now as this the spoken word. And he said, you just keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to touch the lives that are meant to be touched, you know, because I was very frustrated by it. I was, so.
Well, I can imagine that you would be, but then there's so much work, and you really can't do it all by yourself. When I get at home, I'm going to find a book and I'm going to send you. I don't know if you can even find this book in print anymore, but one of my very favorite poets, who is an African poet who lives in America, may still be here, who lives in Virginia. His name is Kiari Cheatwood, and he has a book of docu-poems called Bloodstorm. And there are some powerful pieces in there. And I can't send you my book because don't think I can find it. If I find the book, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But if I don't find the book, then I'll send you a few things. Because I would just love to see you have an opportunity to look at this. Because sometimes in the lives of our ancestors, we find the lessons that we need to teach, but also sometimes in the experiences that the uncelebrated have had, there are also some powerful lessons. And so it's very important that that we remember who we were and how we were.
Yes.
You know, as much as I love to know about, as to celebrate the ancestors. If you get yourself confined in there, they're just endless ancestors. So you'll just, you'll be old and gray, and you'll still be trying to get to them, because there's so many of them. but you might be able to cover some of the culture by covering some of the experience anyway. I'm happy with what you do, and I'm happy with what you've chosen out of all the things, the people that you've chosen to study and to learn and to emulate. I think, and you do a very, very, very fine performance. You know, you and I'm hoping that you'll be somewhere local and that I'll know about it. Do you expect to be somewhere in the Chicago area in the next few months?
I do. We will have pretty much the majority of our entire troupe here celebrating Black History at different high schools.
Okay.
So they're coming from all over because our members of our team, they live at DC and Maryland and California, and so and you saw Paul Robeson, Stogie Kenyatta, and he's out of LA. So we have people from everywhere, and so they're going to all be here celebrating Black History. So I will definitely let you know.
You have to let me know so I can tell other people about it as well.
And it'll be on the website as well.
Okay.
It will definitely be on the website.
Well, you know, we've got a member of your Black History Comes to Life over there. We've got Oba William King, and I don't know who's minding the cameras, but at some point, I think I want to see what Oba has to say.
Yes.
And your experience with Oba has been over the past.
I want to say nearly 15 years for sure.
15 years. The last time Oba and I were together, we were doing a program called Speaking of Margaret, and it was a spoken word tribute to Dr. Margaret Burroughs at Malcolm X College. And Oba was in his prime because I don't think he loves anybody in the world more than he loves Dr. Burroughs. And so he was magnificent, as he usually is. He's he's
amazing.
He's so professional in what he does.
Amazing.
And I hope that I'll get a signal from somebody that he's ready to come forward. Is anybody going to tell me when?
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Glory Peace. And I'm very, very happy to be here representing with Geylah and the organization of Black History Comes to Life, and being an ensemble member of that brand new organization bringing the rhythm and story and drum. As you know, it's been since about 1991, 92 when I met Miss Gwendolyn Brooks, and she tapped me on my shoulder, said she wouldn't mind listening to me talk all day. So that's what I do. I am the poetic storyteller, telling stories using the drum, the African culture, our heritage, bringing it to life. And during this year, there's just a couple of things that I'd like to focus on, and having our children represent, understand our ancestors and the importance of knowing whose shoulders we stand on. The importance of understanding the fact that without them, no doors would be open, no paths would be lit. There's no way for us to get to where we're going without those who sacrificed their lives. So we tried to create a little tribute to those whose shoulders we stand on, to those who have come before us, those who light our way, the ancestors. The ancestors said to play my drum, bring to you an African sound, find the rhythm so you can dance. We're connected to the elements. We're connected. The ancestors said that I should try to get you to raise your voices high. Find the rhythm and clap your hands. We're connected to the elements. We're connected like trees to the leaves, connected like sand to the beach, connected like stars in the sky, connected. Yes, you and I are connected like hand on a drum, connected like heat to the sun, connected like bird to his wing. Yes, everything connected. The ancestor said, the ancestor said. 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 We're connected. Connected. You see, we are 70% water. No matter how tall, how old, how rich, how poor, what neighborhood you live in, your socioeconomic profile, we are all connected. And we think on the idea of the times of those who have come before us. When we gather together, we pour libation. We give honor to those. We say their names, because in the African culture, we believe that as long as you speak a person's name, as long as you remember them, their spirit stays alive. So we pour water into a living object, into a plant, water into the earth, and we speak the names of those who have passed on, but who we keep strong in our hearts, like Dr. Margaret Burroughs and Oscar Brown Jr., Okoro Harold Johnson, those who taught me, Miss Gwendolyn Brooks. We go on into our history, and we think about those who we fashion ourselves after, Denmark Vesey and Nat Turner. We think about Benjamin Banneker and all of the great accomplishments made by the Dr. Carter G. Woodson in bringing us this period, this time, this dedication, so that we understand that we must give honor to our ancestors in order to go forward. It's like the Africans say, the Sankofa bird, his body is moving forward while his head is looking back. We must know where we've been to know where we're going. The ancestors said to play my drum. Yeah, that's what I like to do. I'll play the drum. I'm Oba William King. If I could take you into one story, just a moment, I'll tell you the story about this flag. I carry it with me everywhere I go. It's so important. This is the flag of the African people. This flag and these colors, red, black, and green, they represent the oldest known colors to fly for a group of civilized people. These colors, brought to us by the Honorable Marcus Garvey, all the way from the ancient Zinj Empire. And these colors, to me, they stand side by side with the red, white, and blue. Our children can take their hands and place it over their heart and say the allegiance without skipping a beat. They learn by rote, by repetition, and rhythm. So we teach about this flag, repetition and rhythm. We take these colors and we use the drum, the djembe drum, our African instrument, one of the best known instruments that come from the African culture. And we put down a rhythm and we call and response. That's where I say the words and you say them back. Red, black, and green, most beautiful colors I've ever seen. Red, black, and green, most beautiful colors I've ever seen. Red is for the blood, black is for the people, green is for the land. Now you understand why I say red, black, and green. Most beautiful colors I've ever seen. You see, so I usually try to give that to the young people, to the children, because I believe that if the children get the strength of knowing who we are, they're walking down the street with that little, what they call earworm in their ear. Red, black, and green, and they have pride in us and who we are. But like I said, we give honor to our ancestors, those who have come before us. So we include the parents and the grandparents. Now all of y'all know you remember this. Praise the red, the black, and the green. The brothers and sisters are being redeemed. Why don't you open up your hearts and see? We're on our way to being free. Being free, being free. Victory, being free. Being free, being free. Victory, red, black, and green. Most beautiful colors I've ever seen. Well, that's just a little bit of rhythm. We take rhythm. Rhythm and repetition is how we teach. And during this period of time, I call this the cultural season. We're able to get into the schools and the libraries and community service centers, especially now with the YMCA and the seniors that are living in the residency centers, and bringing these stories and these rhythms so that they can share their experiences, capturing the stories of our grandparents, our aunties and our uncles, those who are still alive. Young people just take the time to say, auntie, uncle, big mama, grandpa, what was it like when? Ask them a question, and they'll just spend all of their time smiling and answering. And that's how we continue to keep our stories going forward. We keep our culture alive. And it's right here, it's in our heart and in our minds. And we use storytelling, drama, and poetry to bring our village, our community, our family together. Keep it strong. In love. I love my people.
William King, Just Us Arts. Still doing well, still doing fine. We miss Mother Burroughs, don't we? Don't we?
Keep our spirit alive. We keep that spirit alive.
Yes, when you were on a show with her and you were singing I Love My People,
Yes.
she was singing it, so was I. We were both singing it
Yes, thank you
along
so
with
much.
you. Yes, indeed.
That
And
is
now
quite
you
the
have
anthem.
now you have a CD of I
Yes.
Love My People. A bunch of things on here.
Yes.
You do The Creation by James Weldon Johnson and the Red, Black, and Green that you just did.
Yes, yes.
And I Love My People,
Yes.
which you should have done so I could sing.
No, we'll sing it on the way out. That's just fine.
Imani and you have Baba Atiba on the drums.
Yes.
Oh, heavyweight stuff.
Yes.
I
I've
don't
been
know
blessed.
who Kimberly and Elizabeth
Oh, that
Hall
is so sweet. That is by one of the writers that I met. When I first arrived in Chicago, I worked for a very brief period of time at the Burrell Advertising Agency with Tom Burrell. And there was Emma Young, and there was an association of black screenwriters that was just kind of formulating, and we had at that point started doing Spice's Jazz Bar. And Spice's was really the grandfather organization of open mic poetry. And that's where the folk really began to come and sit and listen to one another share in rhythm and rhyme. It was pretty much, Obasi had gone by the way of a period of time that had ended. And as Spices came, that was the young generation of spoken word artists. We weren't calling it spoken word yet. It was open mic poetry, but there was
Kimberly Ann.
Yeah, was Emma Young, and she had this piece, and I'd like to share it if I may. Can I just
Go ahead.
Kimberly Ann Elizabeth Hall went to school for the first time in the fall. She saw so many things for the very first time, like brown desks and blackboards. She heard bells that chimed. The playground had sand and tires and swings, boards you can slide down, and big climby things. She saw lots of children playing real nice, but somehow they were different, and that made her think twice. Don't get me wrong, they had regular heads and eyes, but some of their eyes were as blue as the skies. They had fingers and hands, arms, feet, and all, but they're not like me, thought Kimberly Ann Elizabeth Hall. It wasn't their ears, it wasn't their noses, their ankles, their teeth, their feet, their toes. It wasn't because they were fat or thin. It was the different color of her skin. Oh, no, don't get me wrong. Kimberly Ann knew all well and good. There were lots of different colors in her neighborhood, but they were tan brown, beige brown, brown all around, blue, black brown, caramel brown, that sweet chocolate brown, but some kind of brown. No, never had Kimberly seen such a sight. Their skin was different than hers. She didn't think it was right. So Kimberly Ann asked her mama that night, would the kids like me better if my skin were white? They all play with each other, they only play together. Does that mean having white skin is better? Her mama said, baby girl, your skin got nothing to do with who you are. It's what's inside of you. Whether you're black, brown, or white, you have a head with brains. You smile when you're happy. You get wet when it rains. You walk on your feet. You ride on your bike. So in lots of ways, lots of kids are just alike. Some kids get all A's, and that means that they're smarter, not because of their skin, is because they work harder. She said maybe those kids are staying away because they think you're better than they. Maybe they don't know what to do. So I say, making friends is up to you. Kimberly Ann went to school the next day. She asked her new classmates, may I please play? And all those kids said, yeah, they were glad she came. She taught them all this fun new game. She ran home after school. She said, Mama, you were right. Lots of us kids are just alike. It doesn't matter if we black, brown, or white. She said, baby girl, how you learn this news? Well, Melissa O'Malley and I, we got the same kind of shoes. It sounds just like when Judy Ziegler and I sneeze. We all say excuse me and thank you and please. We count to 10 going 1, 2, 3. All of us know our A, B's, and C's. You know, I'm going to be a doctor, and so is John Mandy, because we all get sick when we eat too much candy. So who cares if I don't look like Benny or Patty as long as I'm loved by my mommy and daddy? She gave her mama a hug and climbed on her daddy's knee. And then she said with a smile, it's good to be me. Kimberly Ann learned that day. Now she wouldn't have it any other way. It don't matter if you're black, brown, or white. You just work hard to be smart. Treat others right. The rest will be easy. You just wait and see. And you can grow up to be whatever you want to be. Kimberly Ann Elizabeth Hall, that's by Emma Young. Yes.
That was just so
Isn't
fun.
that fabulous?
Yeah, you know, this kind of, I'm getting nostalgic here because this kind of reminds me when I had Oscar Brown Jr. on my show. And, you know, he was a great poet and storyteller and all this wonderful stuff. And he just go into something, you know. I'd be interviewing him and then he just go on off and do something else, you know. It's wonderful.
It was through Oscar Brown Jr. that I got the first grant from the state of Illinois. It's called a Master Apprentice Grant. And it was just the requirement of the grant was that you sit at the knee of an elder, someone who is the master in the field that you have an interest in.
And you know,
and we were able to write his daughter, Iantha. She had all of the information about her father, of course. And I'd already met Maggie up at the Howard Street Theater. We were doing programming out of the little theater on Saturday. It was called the Saturday Show. And we'd get the kids after school to come over, and we'd rehearse our We Speak in Rhythm school touring program. And all of the children that came to join us on Saturday would do their own show. We did an open mic car wash and everything.
Wow.
We had the hoses, and we were in the Kentucky Fried Chicken parking lot with cars with signs, you know, and we had a microphone and the speakers, and we was doing open mic poetry and telling people to come get their car washed. That's how we raised our money for the Saturday show, and that's Iantha wrote that grant for me and helped me to write the grant, and together we got her father, and I sat at his knee over the course of right out there in what they call Harold Washington Park. And we walked around and he told me the stories that I still hold so dear. On her way to work one morning, down a road alongside a lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor half-frozen snake. Its pretty colored skin had been all frosted by the dew. Poor thing, she cried, I'll take you in and I'll take care of you. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk, and then laid him by the fireside with some honey and some milk. She ran straight home from work next night, and then as soon as she arrived, well, she saw that pretty snake she'd taken in had been revived. Ooh, ooh-wee, said that woman. You're so beautiful, she sighed. You know, if I had not have taken you in by now, you might have died. Well, she stroked his pretty skin again, and then she held him tight. But instead of saying thanks, that snake gave her a vicious, "Ow! I saved you!" cried that woman. "And you've bitten me, but why? You know your bite, it's poisonous, and now I'm gonna die." Shut up, silly woman, said that reptile with a grin. You knew good and well I was a snake before you took me in. Take me in, tender woman. Take me in for goodness sake. Take me inside, tender woman, cried the snake.
Oscar Brown wrote that.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of what he did, he wrote it himself,
Yeah.
which is the other part of his genius.
Genius. And could speak on issues of the day, of the moment, of the time. And had a wonderful mind for the political scene and the politics of the day. We're using some of what we see today through my daughter, Timothy Pearl. She's 9 years old now. One day while we were out shopping on our way to just picking up stuff for a Saturday. And you know how you work with your children, so she unloads the basket, gets everything in the cart, and I tell her to go ahead and go forward, baby, because it's our turn. The person in front is making their payment. And she turned around and said, Dad, I'm like, what? I don't want to see that. What? And I looked up front, and it's, rather tall, young guy, but he's rather tall, and because of his height, he's tall and he's swagging his pants. So because he's swagging his pants, they come right at about eye height of baby girl, and she's like, she can't move forward because right there, it's fully exposed. So I said, brother, being a little bit of an elder, I can approach you, and I'm honest in that thing, and so I say, I wonder if you want to pull them up, there's a little baby girl right here and everything, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, oh, my bad, yeah. He pulled himself up and, took care of his business, finished up, and we went on. We're in the car, we're driving home, and baby gets a little piece of rhythm. She's like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. So we started driving, and you going down the street and see, when you begin to look at it, there's a lot of our young fellas are swagging their way on the street corners, getting on the bus and in and out of what they're doing. And we put together this little piece I like to share with you. I usually use the drums, so you have to imagine the rhythm of it going, pull 'em up, pull your pants up. While you walk around, let the world see you. Pull 'em up, let me use my imagination. Pull your pants up and get a good education. Pull 'em up, that ain't really cool. Walking around with your pants down at school. Pull 'em up, do your mama know you're walking around letting your underwear show? Pull 'em up, I don't wanna see it. Pull 'em up, I don't wanna see, pull 'em up, I don't wanna see, pull 'em up, I don't wanna see your pants on the ground. Why you walk around with your pants on the ground? Pants on the ground, looking like a fool with your pants on the ground. How you gonna run with your pants on the ground? Pants on the ground, why you got your pants swagging? Walk around town with your pants below your waist. You think you're really cool, but it is a disgrace. I don't really know how you can show your face. Don't you know the clothes you wear outside, they represent the race? Pull 'em up, I don't wanna see, pull 'em up, I don't wanna see, pull 'em up, I don't wanna see, pull 'em up, I don't wanna see your drawers. And so the little kids are now singing that to the bigger little kids,
Oh man, that's
Yeah. And the fellas, they all respect. I'll tell you the one thing, I don't care how hard we are, we always have respect for the younger people.
The shorties.
Yeah, always.
Shorties always get a little.
I got you, dog. I got you.
Right.
And you see them tug them up,
Right.
belt them off, and
Right.
go ahead about their business,
Right.
because they understand that they are setting the example for
Right.
those who are coming behind.
absolutely.
They understand. Ultimately, they understand.
Do y'all live in this creative world all the time where everything you see turns into a poem?
Ooh, yes, I think so. I
Okay.
think so. And it could be the downfall why you don't get to bed at night because your mind just keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. I don't know. Are you a late bug?
I'm no,
I am.
yeah, I am. I have I have a 3 o'clock muse, and I say it's the ancestors. You know, that piece, the ancestors said to play my drum. You know, and I was driving up to Peoria for an activity that we were doing, and the theme of it was we're connected, and it was how we wanted to celebrate during Earth Day. The fact that everything that we do, it results or it reflects on all of the elements. And that we're connected as much to the trees as the trees are to their leaves, that as the sun is up in the sky, as the birds are to their wing, as the sand is to the beach, that all of the elements are connected. And when we see ourselves as connected like that, that we are all part of this magnificent universe, so that the things that I do, there's a ripple effect. It's going to affect you. It's going to affect you. And it is a reflection on our family. And we can get these messages through rhythm and repetition in story and poetry. So yeah, I think I have like a 3 o'clock muse, and I'll get up, and it's not wandering around aimlessly. It's specifically targeting some things to do.
Yeah.
It's work. It's
When
work.
I wake up at whatever, some odd hour, you know, I've heard people say I have insomnia. I just get
busy.
get up,
Start working.
you know, or
Get what you need to do
or
done.
I read,
Right,
or I meditate.
Yes.
But I don't fight.
Don't fight
over
it.
it.
You know?
right.
Because
Why am I awake? People be like, why am I awake? Because you have something to do.
Right.
And you settle down and be quiet. Well, as we get older, we start to understand that we can listen. That oh, something told me I should have. We understand that those are ancestors. That's the Creator speaking directly to us.
And you know, this is interesting a little. I had a book of poetry by Dr. Burroughs called Africa, My Africa. Very thin book. I borrowed it from the library. Think she must have published it herself because it had her address on the back of it and so forth. And it was something she had used at a class. But the thing was, I had this book of poetry, and then it was time for it to go back to the library. So I renewed it so I could keep it longer, because you can't get it. And so I had this book of poetry, and then I couldn't find it. So I was so frustrated, I just believed I had to have turned that book in, and the library had to look for it because it was not anywhere in my house. I dreamed that I found it. I dreamed that I found it. And I got up and I went in my kitchen and I moved some DVDs aside.
And it was right.
And there it was. Which was, you know, like you said, there's something is telling you not to sleep. Something is telling you to be up. And I had looked feverishly. I had looked everywhere, and it could not be found. Only because it was on the counter and put a couple of CDs down, and it's so thin it didn't show. So when you, that's an opportunity. You know, when you are awakened, you know, at an odd hour, and if I'm retired, so I can sleep at other times. I don't know what you do.
I'm an
if
artist.
You have
I can sleep when
I
can sleep when I get tired.
Right.
Okay.
That's the way it goes. You create,
you do
sleep.
your booking.
You create, you sleep.
Right.
You create, you sleep.
Yeah.
You work, you know.
Right.
And that's how I got the signature piece for Power of the Tongue, which is the one woman show that I do, you know. And it just came to me just like that. It was like it had marinated, you know. So many times we don't realize that we speak things into existence. The things that we think then speak have so much to do with the paths we take. The power of the tongue can be food for thought or fuel for fire. The power of the tongue can reduce you to nothingness or elevate you so much higher than you ever imagined you could be. Can't you hear the power of the tongue guiding your heart, your mind, your body, your soul? Or did you really think that it just rolls from one ear out the other? Optimistic conversation begets healthy motivations. Speak life.
Well, isn't that a fine way to terminate this whole thing? Even though I don't want it to stop, but the whole idea that you'll be somewhere around and we
Yes.
can find you
Oh,
and
yes.
come and partake of more of this.
Yes.
Grand Prairie Library. I'm sorry, I say Grand Prairie, and it's actually Grand Crossing Library. It's on 73rd in South Chicago.
Okay.
And we're doing the work of a program concept called Building Bridges. And it's specifically teens and seniors together through poetry, spoken word, storytelling, cultural songs. So we gather together and we share.
But in between times, how do people, if they wanted to find you, your
Easily, storytellingking.com.
King. Storytelling King.
Storytellingking.com.
King?
Yes.
Storytelling King.
Oba William King,
Storytelling King. That's
Okay,
right.
.com, and we are
BlackHistoryComesToLife.com.
BlackHistoryComesToLife.com, so
Yes.
everybody knows how to go online and find
Yes.
out how to get
Yes.
further
Yes,
information.
yes, yes.
I think it's
Absolutely.
wonderful. I think you ought to be
Have to go
everywhere
into
all the
it.
time.
I thank
so
you. I was
much.
so glad to run into you because you inspired me years ago.
my goodness.
Years
Tell
ago,
that story.
when she just was, when she did shows and I was just, just piddling here and there, and she would have me come here, there, South Shore Cultural Center, come taping, and she was such an inspiration to me, and I needed that back
That's
then.
very good.
And I'm
Well,
so
I
happy to see her. I
appreciate that.
recognized her just instantly.
That's very good.
Thank
And
you
I'm just so
much
thankful.
for that. And I'm going to stay in touch. And as
Yes.
I said, I'm going to send you a piece. And I got to find
Yes.
Brenda Matthews because I misplaced her.
Oh.
We got Brenda
Yeah.
Matthews.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You'll leave here with every number. And she is the one.
Who isn't she? A
Oh.
powerhouse.
Mama Brenda.
Oh,
She's
yes.
a powerhouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. She's
Yeah.
a powerhouse. Absolutely.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love this.
Well, I love
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
And thank
yeah,
you for
yes, we
having
do.
me.
Well, I
Absolutely.
thank you for traveling all this distance to
Yes.
come, and thank you for you just sandwiched me in
Mm-hmm.
between about a billion things, But I'm glad that you did. I'm
Yes.
very
Yes,
glad
it's
that
a
you
good
were
thing.
both here at the same time. This is
Yes,
good
me
energy.
too.
Yes,
I
it's a
feel
good thing.
invigorated.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
might go home and do something.
There you go.
Write
There you go.
something
There
down
you
on
go.
paper.
Yeah, folks,
Yeah.
when you wake up, start writing. Wake up, write, read, listen to the ancestors, meditate.